Apparently, Charlie himself is getting canceled. But you guess what? Twitter activist is going after Charlie, and I wanna see what is going on. What kind of spicy nonsense has Twitter built up today, man?
As Zackrawrr reports here, some of those virtue signaling Twitter cop types attempted to cancel Charlie. So Charlie was essentially doing some cash giveaways on stream. The system as follows.
Why is this like Class to Next situation?
And what they'll use it for. Then he will pick names at random and give them the cash that they requested. However, a few critics have lashed out at Charlie for doing this, arguing that he's giving away the money for a quote-unquote sinister tax write-off, something the streamer...
A sinister tax write-off? What do you have to do with his tax write-off? What do you have to do with this? Like, why do you care?
...vehemently disagrees with. To my understanding, there were people on Twitter spreading these lies about Charlie, and then also some people in his own chat trying to say the same sort of stuff.
I'll go ahead and play a clip from my most recent giveaway stream, and this is a thought that is prevalent quite a bit, because this is not the only person that has said this. Like I mentioned today, there's been a couple of things I was tagged in that talk about this, and it just shocks me how even something as simple as just giving individuals money during streams is now a controversial issue. Hey,
it is kind of nuts that's that people respond this way. Like, yeah, like you're saying, it's not like donating money means that you have to pay less taxes. Yeah, right. I mean, why do people go so low that they're trying to look after every nook and corner to find specific things nowadays to belittle people and put them in a spot of where they have only malicious intent? Or like ruin their actions overall when they're just trying to do good. Like Charlie, if he wants to do this, if you want to do a tax write-off, he could just go donate. Like if that's the case of giving out money removes your tax, like reduces your taxes income, like the tax that you can use for tax write-off overall. If you want to do that, then you could just send it to any normal charity and be done with it. But he's just giving it out to like his community and viewers and stuff like that instead. I feel like, well, I think that it's really awful whenever you see these content creators that are trying to do charity or trying to give money or host events or give out any form of create any form of contest, that you have all of these people on the internet, or at least on Twitter or Kotaku or whatever, that are trying to put them in a bad light. Whenever all they try to do is good, it's just very weird. It's super weird. People grasping for any sort of power. I think it's like, I've thought about it a bit, and I always thought about it, and I like in this sort of sense, but I think these people are not really angry about the cause or angry about like all of that's going on or stand with the activities they are talking about. I think that these people are just attention starved. So they're just getting mad for no reason at all, just to create some form of focus on themselves.
No tax write-off, I mean free money giveaway tonight. So it seems like there's people that think me giving away random amounts of money to random viewers on stream is a tax write-off. Do you not know how that shit works? Do you know how tax write-offs work? Because I can't write those off. I cut the clip short because I did get heated. That legitimately hurts me. Like, I'm not going to try and put up a front where I'm unbothered. I have thick skin, sure, but this actually hurts me. I recognize how lucky I got in life, and I just want to do something nice with it. And then to be attacked, I suppose, by multiple people spamming that same kind of shit about how this guy super sucks, he's actually just doing this for a tax write-off, wake up, sheep. It's infuriating.
Back to Zackrawrr.
Of course it is. Like, you're doing this with you're doing this with the kind of your heart. You're doing something that you think is good, and you're trying to just do good. And then you have all of these people screaming like maniacs and saying that you're the worst piece of shit on the whole universe for doing this. And you're doing this for all the wrong reasons. Of course you'll feel shit about it. Nobody want to like this at all. Like, imagine every good and positive action you did the next few weeks, imagine if you had some like 10 people behind you all the time belittling those actions. Why would you ever do them again?
Minute they end their article by citing
It's not even belittling, but I'm saying that creating like an idea that all of these actions are just awful. You're doing this for some ultimate motive. Like, come on.
Mr. Beast as well, saying YouTube star Mr. Beast has famously faced backlash multiple times thanks to his charitable endeavors.
He also got
such as
lucky
the
with
time
his hair, he
sparked a viral
did.
debate online for paying 1,000 patients.
Isn't he like 30 or
cataract
something?
surgeries, and inadvertently kicked up a storm after paying for 1,000.
Actually, I don't think he's lucky with his hair. He's been working at all his life. I think that people often do get bald from is by the fact that they don't work out, because like your scalp, you need to have blood circulating often around your scalp in itself. And if you're like always sitting, if you're not working out a lot, you kind of sort of, well, you sort of have a higher chance of being bald. Charlie is short as fuck, though. He is very short.
Astonishing because
he's extremely short. I think he's 5'6".
For helping others are the sort of virtue signally types you'll see on Twitter. They talk a big game about wanting to help people, but in reality, they do next to nothing to help
this
anyone.
Game looks
and
wild.
They try and ruin the lives of the people who actually help others. And as bad as that already is, it gets even worse because those sort of virtue signally types often stand on this fake soapbox, right? They have this like fake moral superiority where they're acting like they're so much better than everyone else. Yet all they really do is wallow in toxicity.
Yeah.
Charlie then went on to explain to the people lying about him how tax deductions actually work, and then saying that those people could have got all this information within minutes or even seconds by simply doing a Google search.
All this information is right there at your fingertips. You could have just opened a new tab next to Twitter right before making your tweet thread about how this is all just some kind of galaxy brain supervillain plot for me to get tax write-offs and goodwill through doing.
Also, I just want to say one thing. Like, you remind me, Abe. I don't think that even if he donated money for tax write-off, I don't think that even is bad. Like any content creator, for example, playing a gacha game and spending their money on a gacha game, they can write that off their taxes because they're doing it during their entertainment part. And, you know, it doesn't really matter. I just don't think that even if somebody did an action and you like wrote it off their taxes, who gives a shit? Like, why do you even care about someone else's taxes? It doesn't really matter.
Giveaway stream.
It's a legit business expense, yeah.
And you could have just Googled, is this shit like tax deductible?
Wait, Asmon could write off his lost art pulls? Every single thing Asmon, Soda, all of them do on stream is a tax write-off. So whenever they spend $1,000 on a gacha game, whenever Soda does the shit show Saturday and he buys video games to up to $800, all of that is tax write-off because this is the things that he do during his job. This is the part of his business. It's the part of the entertainment. So it is a business expense, so he can write it off.
Deductible. Is this a tax
Same
write-off?
goes for food, by the way, that you consume while you are working. So for example, whenever they order DoorDash, whenever they order anything to their stream, they can look at it as a business expense. So there are some extra benefits around taxes. You can do a lot of these things, by the way, with your regular life, with whatever you're doing as well. If you're like, obviously it depends on what you're doing, but when you're like your own personal business owner or you do your own personal business, there are many ways you can remove payments from your taxes, and it's completely fine.
If you just let your synapses fire for just a moment, you could have
exactly
and thought logically.
Yeah, it's asking way too much of these sort of people. A lot of them don't use logic at all. The second issue is a lot of them don't actually care about this stuff anyways.
Nobody
like,
cares.
Actually about
the only people that care are dumb. Like let's just, I don't need to say more. If you care about somebody else's taxes, you are dumb. Focus on yourself.
We're concerned about Charlie's tax deductions. Nah, they saw an
Hi,
opportunity
Skelly.
to try and get clout by lying about somebody, and so that's what they did. And obviously, that's a very pathetic thing to do. On this channel, I've experienced a similar thing because my community and myself have raised around $25,000
Welcome back to
the World charity. And side note, yes, I did vet this charity. I looked into it quite a bit and even wrote an article with evidence of why I think it's one of the good ones. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of bad, scummy charities out there. But anyways, back to the main point. So I actually had some people throwing hate my direction for
because it's free content.
True. Charity to help kids in need, saying that I was only doing it to try and
even if something is dumb, even if something is super stupid and nobody should care about it, it can still be content for content creators. It can still be something funny to talk about because,
myself and my
you know.
community look good, which is a nonsensical lie. The fact of the matter
On
is,
May
ever since I was a
8th,
little kid, I've
you know
done
what
I
May
can in
month
time to
is
help
for
others. I'm not
Norwegians.
saying I'm like the best, most helpful person ever, but you know, I do what I can here and there. And now with my channel, I'm fortunate enough where I can do this as well. And some other crazy lies were that I was accused of pocketing all of the money myself, which is so patently absurd because, as Charlie pointed out, like those people didn't know what they were talking about regarding.
So we'll have to
deductions.
look
Well,
at
these
it
people
whenever
don't
you
know
get
what they're talking
closer.
about regarding how these
It would be
charities
fun
work
to
through
play V
YouTube.
Rising again.
Fact of the matter is, I don't see a single penny of the money that's put into the Give Kids the World charity here on the channel. None of that ever goes to me in any way, shape, or form. And as a matter of fact, I've actually put plenty of my own money back into the charity.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real, guys. You can say this is an asshole move as well, but I'm like thinking a little bit. Like, charities and charity goals and doing a charity stream, I don't trust charities because of my own experience in life. And I feel like if I did like a charity thingy on my stream, if I was in a position where I could do a charity thing, like on my stream and raise goals of money, I don't think I would do it. But you know what I think I would do if I was in a wealthy position? I think I would just like donate like directly to something like places near me or in my country that I can see, that I can trust. And I would probably never do any of these online charities on stream ever. Because I personally, I don't trust things that much because of, like, again, I've said this story many times, but I have seen people scam and people lie when it comes to like being poor, being homeless, doing charities. And because of my personal experience with that, I just don't trust shit. I don't trust some random organization online. I see how much the CEOs of charities are getting every year of bonuses, like 20 million, 50 million, sitting there in billion of value. Like, I don't trust this shit. I probably will never do a charity on my stream unless there's like to give something directly. And also, I probably will never announce it because the thing is that if you announce it as a content creator, you will always have people talk about that you did charity fraud. You took them some of the money. You didn't give it away, blah, blah, blah. And I see this with a lot of things. Like, I remember OTK. OTK had this situation where they were having fraud. Like, they were having a deal with a charity organization, and the money OTK gave to that charity organization, apparently the CEO or something took 50% of it. So now that organization is in a lawsuit case, and like everybody shat on OTK for taking the money when they gave everything away to the charity organization. And the people suing the charity organization is OTK. It's like many other organizations that I work with them and stuff like that. Like, they are the one that had fraud, but in the public eye, what did we, like moderators and people working in OTK, see? We saw people making multiple threads coming into every chat accusing OTK of stealing money. And that's the thing. I feel like when you take these topics that are deemed to be done for good, they are meant for a good cause. They're meant to help people that need that help, you know? But every time you try to do it, all you do is get shit on. They twist the narrative a positive thing and make it like a bad reputation for yourself, which in the end of the day is, you could look at it as kind of like defamation, but it's like, it's ruining your branding, you know? Like, if people say you did charity fraud a lot, that's not a positive thing. If a lot of people are left with that interpretation, a lot of people will probably not really in any sort of way support you. So I probably will stick for this forever. And you can say this is an asshole move, wherever you think about. It is my choice at the end of the day, but I don't think I will ever on this channel do a charity stream ever. But if I am in a wealthy spot, you damn know I will never talk about it. I might talk about it to friends. I will probably go around and donate it to like children houses and like stuff like that, and like specific organizations that are like tied to like healthcare and stuff like that in my own country. Like, I'd surely do that. but I will never probably make a big deal out of it and start like, we're doing this charity stream, we're doing these goals. Because I just think that there are things like this get so twisted in a bad light whenever it's meant to be deemed good, and it just doesn't seem like a right thing. And I don't really trust the online organizations that much that it's worth it. I'd rather just go directly to things and spend a day or two to do that. That sounds like a way better thing in my mind, because then I can see also the change, you know? I remember when I looked at Athene, I remember Athene back in the day. I don't know if you guys know about Athene. Very long, old WoW player, made like one of the first content creators on YouTube itself that did gaming content. Absolutely one of the first. And he had this organization called Gaming for Good. And you could see that he really tried, and he even went there. He basically tried to build like some towns in Africa and stuff like that were dealing with a lot of the poverty. But even if he even went there and he showed all of the changes and how it looked before and stuff like that, and went there regularly and lived there and did changes there, even then his organization constantly trying to make money kept on getting flack after flack for stealing the money. And you can see that he's done so much. So I don't know, that's just my idea. I don't know what everybody thinks, but yeah.
Too. Anyways, to dial it back a little bit, that is the situation with Charlie. Sucks he's been going through
From
that,
like clothes,
but he's handling
yeah,
it well. And that's a little
for
bit
toys,
of
like for a kid's home, like gaming console, clothes, food, toys, you know, like these things will, if you give like kids these kind of things, this might change their entire, like their entire life in some way, to just have these things. And I think if I was in a wealthy position, that would bring me so much joy to just see that just be given to them, you know what I mean? Like something like that. And you could take this with many other things, like people being sick, or like a cancer institute or anything like that. Everything, like it's I am more of the individual that likes to go directly. I don't know. I think it's a personal thing with how I've like just my experiences, but I prefer to not do these things online. I prefer to just go do it directly.
So thank you all so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this segment. If you
Hi
did,
Dave, how you doing, buddy?
Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and consider liking and or subscribing.
Yeah, I think I've talked enough about what I think, but yeah, I can understand how people could look at this with my thoughts and what I'm saying to say that it's kind of like bad, you don't want to support this and that. But in contrariety, like I do want to support more people that are in need. But I don't want to support a CEO that is just sitting on his ass and getting all the money, like 50%, 80%. Because every time I look at these charity organizations, it sounds like that's the case. Does the charity that gives consoles to hospital for sick kids, great charity there. Yeah, that's amazing. Like giving, I think like bringing some joy to sick children is probably one of the greatest thing you could ever do. Like it's very few things that can really beat that. Because the tragedy of being a sick child or seeing that really hurts your heart. So I'm gonna be real. I think that's very nice of them. But in the end of the day, that's my thoughts. I would love to hear what everybody else thinks, but that's personally my thoughts. Yeah.